It's smaller than New York City, just over 700 square kilometers. Yet, in just half a century, Singapore has gone from a struggling port city to an economic titan with a GDP per capita that rivals the richest countries in the world. No natural resources, and fewer than 6 million people. And still, Singapore consistently outpaces many of its larger neighbors. How did this city-state, once dismissed as a tiny trading post, become one of the world's most advanced economies? Let's unpack the unique mix of ambition, smart policy, and innovation that turned Singapore into a global economic powerhouse. Singapore sits at the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula, just 728 square kilometers of land, making it smaller than New York City. And with a population of 5.6 million, it's roughly the size of a mid-sized city like Houston. But here's the real shocker. Singapore's GDP per capita is around $88,000, according to the World Bank, putting it ahead of countries like the US, Germany, and even Switzerland. This is not just a statistical curiosity. It's a paradox that challenges traditional notions of what makes an economy powerful. Most large economies rely on abundant natural resources, expansive land, or huge populations to drive growth. Singapore has none of these. In fact, the island has no oil reserves, no mining industry, and virtually no domestic market to speak of. So it can't depend on raw materials or sheer population numbers to fuel its economic engine. Yet somehow, Singapore has built one of the world's most advanced economies, home to world-class banks, tech startups, and cutting-edge manufacturing. So how did this dot on the map become an economic juggernaut, consistently outperforming nations many times its size? Let's dig into the factors that turned Singapore's size disadvantage into a global advantage. Singapore's rise to economic stardom is no accident. Geography played a starring role. Perched at the mouth of the Malacca Strait, one of the busiest shipping lanes on Earth, Singapore sits on a maritime superhighway. Approximately 30% of the world's maritime trade flows through this narrow passage, linking the Pacific and Indian Oceans. This natural crossroads turned Singapore into a critical stopover for global trade, even before it had much of an economy to speak of. The port of Singapore is now one of the world's busiest, handling around 600 million tons of cargo each year. But it's not just about location. It's about how Singapore turned that location into an economic engine. The government invested early in deep water port facilities, streamlined customs processes, and world-class logistics. That meant faster turnaround times for ships, lower costs for traders, and a reputation for reliability. The result? Singapore is more than just a waypoint, it's a global connector, linking East and West in an economy built on trade. Singapore's transformation didn't happen by chance. It was engineered. After independence in 1965, Singapore's founding father, Lee Kuan Yew, took the helm of a nation with almost no natural resources and a precarious future. Under his leadership, Singapore embraced a radically pragmatic approach to economic policy. Lee knew that political stability and pro-business policies would be key. The government rolled out aggressive reforms to slash red tape, offering investors a seamless experience. Today, Singapore ranks second in the world for ease of doing business, according to the World Bank. And it wasn't just about bureaucracy. Lee's administration understood that a competitive corporate tax rate could lure multinational giants. Singapore's 17% corporate tax, well below the OECD average, has made it a magnet for foreign companies seeking a predictable, low-tax environment. But there's more to it. Lee Kuan Yew and his team insisted on a zero-tolerance policy for corruption, an approach that fostered trust in the rule of law. Coupled with strategic investments in education and infrastructure, Singapore quickly became a preferred launchpad for companies doing business in Asia. These forward-thinking policies and an unwavering focus on stability turned a swampy backwater into a modern economy and set Singapore on a path to global relevance. Singapore's biggest export isn't electronics or oil refining, it's people. The city-state recognized early on that with limited land and no natural resources, its only path to growth was investing in human capital. Today, Singapore boasts a literacy rate of 97%, and it has one of the highest concentrations of STEM graduates in Asia, third only to China and India. But it's not just about raw numbers. the government has poured resources into education at every level, from rigorous primary schools to top-ranked universities like the National University of Singapore and Nanyang Technological University, both of which consistently place among the top 20 in the world. This focus on education has paid dividends. Singapore's workforce is among the most skilled and adaptable globally, making it a magnet for multinational companies looking for talent in fields like biotechnology, fintech, and advanced manufacturing. By prioritizing education, Singapore has turned its people into an engine of growth, proof that human capital can be a country's greatest asset. Singapore's economic miracle isn't just about finance or shipping. Over the past 2 decades, the country has shifted its focus to the industries of the future, diversifying to avoid being overly reliant on any single sector. Financial services remain a key pillar, making up about 13% of the nation's GDP. But Singapore isn't standing still. It's now home to a $30 billion biotech industry, positioning itself as a regional hub for pharmaceutical manufacturing and cutting-edge research. Singapore's ambition doesn't stop at healthcare. The city-state is investing in advanced manufacturing, from precision engineering to semiconductor fabrication, while also carving out a niche in green energy and sustainability. Take fintech. Singapore has become a playground for digital banks and blockchain startups, thanks to forward-thinking regulations and a robust digital infrastructure. By pivoting to these high-value sectors, Singapore is future-proofing its economy. It's a calculated strategy to stay competitive in a rapidly changing global landscape, proving that even a tiny nation can lead in innovation. Singapore's skyline tells a story of global ambition. Towering office blocks, luxury hotels, and bustling trading floors. Behind this impressive facade lies one of the world's most influential financial centers. With over 7,000 multinational companies choosing Singapore as their regional headquarters, the city-state is a magnet for global capital and talent. Its financial sector manages a staggering $1.8 trillion in assets, rivaling traditional giants like London and New York. But it's not just the numbers. Singapore's strength lies in its strategic position as a gateway to Asia, stable regulatory environment, and a deep pool of financial expertise. From wealth management and fintech innovation to commodity trading and green finance, Singapore is competing fiercely on the world stage, proving that even a city smaller than New York can play in the big leagues. Singapore's success story is impressive, but the challenges ahead are equally daunting. Rising sea levels pose a very real threat. Scientists warn that by 2100, the island could face up to 1 meter of sea level rise, putting critical infrastructure and low-lying neighborhoods at risk. At the same time, regional competition is heating up. Neighboring economies like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam are rapidly expanding their manufacturing bases and attracting investment with lower costs. And then there's the AI revolution. Automation and artificial intelligence promise huge productivity gains, but they also threaten jobs and demand rapid workforce retraining. Singapore isn't ignoring these challenges. The government is investing billions in climate resilience projects, adopting smart technologies, and doubling down on skills training to stay competitive. For this tiny powerhouse, adaptation isn't optional. It's a necessity to secure its place in the global economy. From swampy shores to a global economic powerhouse, Singapore's story challenges everything we think we know about size and success. It's a nation built on clear vision, relentless adaptability, and a commitment to innovation, whether that's fostering youth entrepreneurship or pioneering ambitious green initiatives like the city's extensive solar farms and green buildings. Singapore proves that with the right strategy, a tiny island can shape the global economy and remain ready for whatever comes next. Singapore's story isn't just about one nation. It's a blueprint for how vision, resilience, and smart policy can transform economies. What lessons do you think other countries could take from this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more sharp insights into the hidden forces shaping the global economy, hit subscribe and stay tuned.